it is Jersey Girl here, and welcome to tonight's edition of the Cozy Niche with the one and only Jersey Girl and Mikey Rowe. So you guys got a chance to see that it is He Said, She Heard. And so we are covering generational things right here. We have a vintage female over here. Yes, indeed. Mm-hmm. And then we have this young Thundercat over here. So we want to get into discussion with you guys. It's great because we're going to have a male perspective and a female perspective, as well as a younger man's version and vision of things and a more vintage finer wine version of things. That's what we're going for. Yes, indeed. And of course, we got Pretty Ricky down here by our feet. Who is always lapping up the luxury. So let's go ahead and get started. So the reason that we wanted to kind of bring this to you guys is that there is a lot of things that we as women can hear and perceive based off of things that are said. And then there are things that men hear and perceive based off of things that we say. And so I think that it's good for us to kind of talk about these different things. And then, like I said, because, you know, he is the younger, it would be good to be able to hear from him on exactly some of the things that happen in regards to female and male relationships. So thank you for being here, Mikey.
Well, thank you. I mean, it is my house, so I'm kind of always here, but you know how it is.
Well, thanks for just at least coming on the Cozy Niche, so that way people get an opportunity to talk to you, to see you. And so, of course, we have Christina. She's behind the scenes working the comments. So you guys make sure that you are engaging, because, of course, we want to make sure that we are engaging with y'all. Like I mentioned in the other broadcast, the quick little snippet is that we are getting brighter here in the Cozy Niche. So I want you guys to tell me, are you guys liking how bright it is? Or, you know, or is it a little bit too bright? Are we a little bit too in-depth for y'all? I don't know. But this is what we're working with. So one of the books I've been working on, you guys have heard me talk about it time and time again, the 5 love languages, okay? And so the 5 love languages, it just talks about how we perceive and communicate love. But I think that it goes even beyond just in love, but just how we perceive and how we communicate. Because like I said, it's what he says, but then what we hear. And then it's what we say and what he hears. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about. So Mikey is going to talk about 2 areas in regards to the 5 love languages and kind of give his perspective on exactly what they are. So just as a quick snippet, the 5 love languages that's covered in this book that I believe crosses more than just in love, but just in communication, period, would be words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service, gift giving, and then what was the other one? Quality time.
Yes.
Quality time. So, Mikey, why don't you tell us about the 2 you wanted to touch on? What's the first one you wanted to touch on?
Well, gifts was pretty self-explanatory, you know, just going out of your way to do something special for somebody. And that it's not really as much as it is how much it costs as much as it is the thought that you put into the gift.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So coming from a male perspective, and gift giving, so if it was, let's just say, on just a standard friendship level, okay? Mm-hmm. Don't have to be male and female. We can get into that part later. But if you were to give a gift to a friend of yours, you know, kind of how would that go? Say it's one of your homeboys. Mm-hmm. How would that kind of go for you?
I mean, you know, smooth. I mean, it's nothing simple. I mean, nothing. It is simple. It's nothing. It's not rocket science. I mean, you know, you just look at somebody and be like, you know, I think, you know, Micah or whoever would like this, and you can just buy it for them.
Okay. Now, when you do switch it over to the female part, what then becomes tricky to you or for you, or do you think might be something that you got to kind of think about a little bit?
Well, I mean, I think I would end up putting in a little bit more thought than I would for my homeboys, but because they don't really care. It's nothing. They'll be like, oh, appreciate it. But you know, when it's more of a female, I think you have to, you know, think about what she likes and how. Because you know, maybe you look at something and you feel some way about it. You may like or dislike it, and you're like, you know, but the way I see it could be different. So you kind of have to think about it from a different perspective a little bit.
So in other words, you gotta kind of know this.
Yeah, you kind of have to know her in order to get her a gift that's special to her rather than just
a random.
Yeah.
So what do you think about like when it comes around like Valentine's Day and Christmas and stuff like that, and you see all the commercials and stuff when they're like, buy this, buy this, buy this.
Well, me personally, I don't watch TV, but I mean, I'm not really sure. Honestly, that time of year isn't it? I mean, it's kind of more just of a day for me, but like, it is what it is. It's more of the people around me that make such a big deal out of it, and I have to sit there and listen to anything. Anyway. But yeah, so
we are getting the male perspective, y'all. He's like, I don't really care about it.
Yeah, it's kind of just a day. But,
okay,
yeah.
cool. All right, so for you, quality time, you got to kind of know who the person is.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, giving gifts, it is a matter of knowing what it is that they like and putting thought into it. So whether it's female or male, and for you, you're saying for a female, it does shift gears for you when it is a female.
Yeah, it just requires a little bit of an extra mile to go.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And the way that you're able to know what that mile is to spend time to know her.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay. So what about the other aspect? So that's one, that's gift giving, and that's good. So what's your other one?
Quality time. Well, honestly, quality time kind of a little bit goes along with gifts because in order to know what she likes, you have to spend quality time with her.
Boom.
But honestly, I didn't think too much about quality time at surface level. I was kind of just reading over it, but I took a second to kind of look back at what I had just read, and I remember reading that just because you're in the same room with somebody doesn't really mean it's spending time with them as much as it is just being in the same proximity as them. Spending time together is having an interaction, without distractions, kind of like we are right now. It's kind of I know it's a show. It's going on y'all, but interacting with each other, not being on a phone. Like I can pet Ricky and listen to somebody, but that undivided attention is kind of important.
Yeah, that quality time. So for you, what does quality time look like for you?
If
you were to think about it for yourself, what does that look like for you?
Doing things I generally enjoyed. It's quality time for me.
So what are some of those things? If it was you and let's say a young lady, what would that look like for you?
I'm not really picky. I can kind of just do anything as long as it's not like arts and crafts. I could do like painting, but I'm not real good with crafting stuff. I barely passed art class, but yeah. So not really much of a craftsman, but
But so you're willing to do it, even if you're not good at doing it. You're saying if it's something that she wants to do,
I'll go out of my way to do it. I may not enjoy it all the time, but just me being there might be good enough for her. So.
And it gets you brownie points. Yeah. So for you to communicate that to her, so when we get into the he said, she said part of things, so you're saying like, listen, I don't enjoy it, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
So for you, you're like, okay, that is communicating it.
Yeah, maybe, I'm not much of a crowd person, but if she wants to go like to an amusement park or something, maybe I'll be like, okay, let's go and do that. In a good attitude about it, because you can just go and not have a good attitude, but you can.
And that's gonna suck.
Yeah, going there and acting like if you can act like you're enjoying it, it's different.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
It's possible. Well, that's cool. So I wanted to ask you, and to kind of get into the he said, she heard part of it. When a female says, they kind of, there's a thing that's saying like, watch out when a female says, fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. So the question, Mikey, is that when a female says, it's fine, what do you hear?
It's the tone of the way it's said, because you can be like, that's fine. And you be like, really? Like, there's something extra to that. But she's like, oh yeah, that's fine. Then okay, all right, I'm good to go. It's kind of just a tone word.
It's a tone.
It's a tone word for female, but for a guy, it's like, oh, all right, cool.
Okay, so if it's a guy friend and you're like, it's fine, it's cool.
Yeah, then it
should be that.
It's just, whenever you're talking, it's more surface level between guys than it is with a female. Then you have to actually think, is this actually okay? But like, you sure? Because when I walk out this door,
that's gonna be all.
Yeah, that's it.
So do we have some comments, Christina?
No comments, but Cynthia Davis said that she put thought into either gift.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing to work on out for sure. So, for you in dealing with females, it's like it's more than what she says, but the intent behind it. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you have to go a little bit more into depth in the words she says. I mean, if between, I mean, my guy friends, I know whatever they're saying is basically surface level. Sometimes it's a little bit deeper, but it's very rare. They'll let you know. We'll be like, hey, bro, I got to talk to you about something. And then I know, I got to, level with them. But other than that, whenever a guy's like, okay, then it's fine. It's pure communication. There's no extra stuff to a word. If I say okay, we're good. Not okay. Like, what am I supposed to think? Am I really okay?
You're like, no, you're not.
Putting extra meanings to a word that's supposed to say yes, and you're making it feel like it's a no.
So, you're paying attention to tone, and what else are you paying attention to when you're engaging with the female?
Body language. I think that's important too.
Yeah.
I feel like that's really important.
So if someone is sitting, so if you're talking to a female and she's sitting like this, what does this communicate to you?
I mean, well, it kind of depends on how long you know the person. I mean, sometimes this is a comfortable position for somebody. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, this kind of like closed up a little bit, I guess.
Gotcha.
But
and then like this is more like a
chatty, just hanging out.
What if she like this?
Then sassy. I don't really know.
What if she like this, y'all?
But yeah. So yeah, body language a little bit. Just, I mean, you can also kind of tell if they're comfortable or not around you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, if you were to be able to, let's say you had a magical lamp, right? And you was able to rub the magic lamp, and a genie popped out. And he said,
didn't know we were doing a lot.
I can be able to help you be able to read females' minds.
That's not a good power, but that might actually that sounds good surface level, but that probably wouldn't be the best thing to wish for.
And why wouldn't you think it'd be the best thing to wish for? Don't you think that might be able to help you?
Sort of, but some girls are like scary. So like,
explain, please.
Like, females will go the extra mile sometimes to just be extra. Like, if like a girl hurts a girl or something, then it's just like drama or something. There's gonna be comeback. So you can just be sitting in class and you decide, what are you thinking about? And you just see a whole bunch of hatred, and it's like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be like, what's up? And I'm my own business today.
So you're like, I may not want to get in the shark.
Yeah.
Infested waters. I may want to leave that alone.
I'm gonna just chill my own little bubble today. But yeah.
So what if the genie came out and said, hey, if you ask me any question about a female and I'll be able to answer it, what questions would you ask that genie?
Okay, well, these have to be like the worst genies I've ever heard of. Like, these genies
these are hypothetical genies, man.
I'm looking for genies that can give me money. Clearly, that's not the ones we're finding right now.
No, we're not. We're not finding the money genies.
So, if the genie could just, any questions.
He said, hey, you ask me any questions about females and I'll answer it. What questions would you ask the genie?
I'm sorry. I don't really know. I'm not sure.
He don't know what questions he would ask the genie.
I don't.
I got some questions I would ask the genie. So if I was to flip that question around on myself to say, if there was a magical genie and I could rub it, okay, and ask a question for the magical genie to say, hey, any questions you want to know about a dude, you just ask me and I'll answer it. My question would be, why in the world are the video games ever so important that it just seems to consume all the time?
Okay, well, a video game is good because you can kind of just be whatever you like. Like, I'm gonna be dead serious. This life is boring. Like, you see the things you watch on television, you be like, you know how cool it'd be to be in that world or whatever. And then you look at real life and you're like, man, I gotta pay bills. There's a law. Like, there's a lot of stuff. You just be like, dang, this is reality. And the video game kind of lets you get away from that because, you know, you get to really put your personality into something. And you can have multiple lives, you know, because you can restart a game. And when you're playing different games, you can act different ways in any game because, you know.
You're like a different person.
Yeah, you can be someone else. You're not bound to yourself in a video game.
Okay. So would you say it's like a means of escape?
Yeah, a little bit sometimes. And I mean, it lets off anger sometimes, or if you're feeling real hyped up or something, you know, it's just something to put your energy to. And especially since you can hang with friends on a video game. If you're at different
so you talk
houses.
noise like you do, like over the
All the time.
headset?
Yeah, exactly. All the time.
So for you, the video game, so we're being able to hear, ladies, go ahead and zoom in, that he is saying that for men, when they're playing the video games, it's beneficial to them because it's a means of escape. That they get an opportunity to become someone that they're not,
Yeah.
and an opportunity to restart.
Basically.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I'm sorry, did we have a question or a comment?
A comment is Cynthia Davis making a lot of, I'll say, very funny suggestions about your genies.
Yeah.
Let's hear some of them.
Started them. The first one was for the first genie question was that wish would never work. We're a little more complex than a male genie could ever think of. And she also said that your genie would be male because none of us could figure each other out. All of our brains are real different. So she has some very interesting genie comments.
Uh-huh.
I see.
Yeah. Well, there have been studies that have shown that they say that women are like spaghetti, have spaghetti brain, and men are like waffles. So, let me explain that analogy.
Yeah.
I know, right?
I didn't get
So, men compartmentalize. So, they have boxes that do not touch each other.
Yeah.
So, when a man is at work or at school or on, football or playing the game, that is all he is concentrating on.
Yeah.
Would you say that that's what you're stating?
Now it's making sense.
Yeah.
Now I'm understanding why it's a waffle.
Like each area has its own compartment, So when you're playing the game, you're thinking about the game. You're not thinking about, I need to
do this. I got my own mindset for whatever I'm doing.
Yes.
So if I'm on the game, I have a mindset for the game versus if I'm outside doing sports or playing a game or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the spaghetti part that comes in for females, again, this is the grand majority. Of course, there are always exceptions to the rules, okay, guys? And so they're saying that females are more so like spaghetti, is that all of our stuff touches, it overlaps. And that is a very true statement. And biblically, this is true as well. It says that, at least for a married woman, that, her concerns are for her husband and the affairs of her household. And so, when you are a married woman, not to say that it's only for married women, but it is in relation to that particular scripture, is just saying that her cares are for her husband and her household. And so it's very easy to be multitasking and, different stuff firing off all at different times. And so, ladies, when we're at work, or just say that we're out at the grocery store, and let's say that we happen to call, if you are married, call your husband, and, it's like, hey, I'm out here, I'm at the grocery store. After I leave from here, I'm going to go get the car washed, and if you don't mind throwing that load of laundry in, and this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, he may be at home playing a game, and you are getting him out of his game zone. And most men, the exceptions are always there again, but the grand majority of times they are working within just those boxes. And then us, we tend to touch a whole lot of different things, and we women are very good at multitasking. So, yeah, I know. Christina, y'all can't see her, but Christina's behind the scene going, Yes, honey. So it is a good thing because, not all the time are you going to work in tandem exactly with one another. It is the, what they call the yin and yang, or, the opposites that go. So it's like when you have someone who is very much so multitask oriented, and then a person that is just, set goals, that can be beneficial to a relationship. Not necessarily having both people that are spontaneous all the time, because then where's the planning going to go? And then if you're both planners all the time, then where's the spontaneity going to be in that? So having those work in tandem with each other is really good. So
having two different points of views of something, being able to, plan and do something not planned. Yeah. So I think that makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. So it's not a bad thing of saying that just because they hear one thing and we say something else, or vice versa, it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be at odds the whole time. But kind of like Mikey was saying, that, spending time with that person, getting an opportunity to know them, and then when you're spending that time and getting an opportunity to know them, then you will be able to read their body language better, right? Mm-hmm. Their nonverbals and their verbals. So it makes all the difference in the world. So the other areas that we talked about in regards to the love languages, if you will, but just communication across the board. How we perceive it and how we hear it is different, and it does have a lot to do with our gender. And so there is something that I have been doing for a while now that Mikey can attest to, that when we are out and about, Mikey, what do I do when I'm walking and I'm coming upon a door?
Oh, yeah. She'll, unnecessarily slow down.
Why is it unnecessarily, though?
Because you're already walking ahead of me. To slow down and then turn around and look at me like, oh, that's crazy, there's a door. Oh, that's crazy, God gave you hands. Use them to open the door that stands in your way.
So this is kind of where the little bit of it, the age difference comes in at. And then manners and respect, and being able to treat a lady as a lady, okay? And so this is something that it does have a lot to do with age. And if we're not teaching or instilling it in our children, then it's not something that's going to be there. So I'm going to ask you a question in regards to how you would feel if a woman started opening up your car door.
That wouldn't feel right.
Why wouldn't it feel right?
If it happened all the time, it wouldn't feel right. But if it's mutual, sometimes, I don't know if it's your birthday or something, she just wants to go that extra mile for you. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's cool, but if it's all the time, then it's am I really the guy? You feel me? It's different when it's obligatory versus you want to do it.
You want to do it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Which explains the gas station situation.
Explains the gas station situation all the time. Just saying. So, yeah, a woman likes to feel like a woman, that she's being cherished. And, yeah, I can understand where that question comes in at, where it's at that point in time, are you then swapping, a woman has a certain flair about her, and, she is to be cherished and treasured. And one of the ways that you're able to do that is to be able to allow her to be soft and feminine. And so you're saying that basically if that was being done, doing those things makes you feel soft and feminine. And for you, you wait a minute now, I'm supposed to be the dude in this relationship.
Yeah.
I'm feeling some kind of way.
A little extra, but, she opens the door for me occasionally,
mm-hmm.
just long distance time. So I appreciate it. But, I wouldn't want it to be an all-time thing. It makes me feel, like you said, kind of makes me feel soft. And I'm not used to that. I'm supposed to be in the gym all the time, protein shakes.
Oh.
That's the way to go.
Yeah. Well, y'all already heard me talk about, eating all the food and pumping the iron and the bottomless pit of the stomach that he has.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, yes. So, all I'm doing, son, when I pull up to the gas station and I don't get out and pump my gas, or when I slow up at the door, I'm really helping you.
Are you?
Yes, I am.
Are you though?
I am. I'm making sure that all your work in the gym is paying off.
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess so. Man, this door feeling unnecessarily heavy today.
It's real heavy?
Yeah.
Well, what time are we at right now, Christina? Because I just feel like I want to make sure I'm respecting everybody's time. We got 5 minutes left. So, are there any comments? Does anybody have any questions for Mikey Rowe?
No questions, but Cynthia Davis says, I think it should be reciprocated to one another in the relationship.
Yeah.
I totally agree, and that's exactly what you were saying. Like every now and then, reaching over and opening up that car door for you,
Yeah,
like it's not a bad thing.
Maybe it doesn't even have to be a car door, but just showing that
Just
she cares about you. You know, every now and then something nice to just make me feel special. Be like, I'm not going 100%. Because, love is a two-way thing. It can't just be a one-way street where I'm constantly giving to you. I remember reading something in the book about, I don't know what it said, like something about a Dead Sea and a stream? I can't really remember. But it was basically saying that, like, the Dead Sea somewhere, it's like a really big sea, but it doesn't give, it just, like, collects versus whatever else it was talking about, where it collects, but it also it gives out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was saying that
don't be like the Dead Sea and just holding and collecting it, only trying to receive and never trying to give.
Sort of, but it was saying that normally, like, in a short term, that might seem good, like with two different people, but later it's gonna just feel like one person's giving completely versus not
the
giving
other
at all.
Yeah.
Or the views or the communication or views between the both of you is gonna get mixed up and miscommunication basically.
Yeah. So one is gonna feel like they're always giving, and
the other one is
always
listening.
taking it. Yeah, and it's just like, okay, at what point in time is this gonna switch over?
Yeah, basically. I mean,
or be appreciated.
Yeah, or at least show it, because you can notice things and not share it versus not noticing. But yeah.
So, we have come now to the end of the Cozy Niche. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this time with us. All those who've been able to go ahead and come on at 7:30 here on Mondays. This is when you can be able to find the Cozy Niche. It is happening, y'all, on Mondays at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we are going to be getting into doing a whole lot of other different things. Get ready for a shifting and a changing of things. We're going to be having some different things going on here on the Cozy Niche, and we want you guys to be a part of it. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Cozy Niche. This is Jersey Girl here, and of course we have Mr. Mikey Rowe, who is also here joining us. And thank you so much for your insight, young man, of all things. And we will talk to you guys later. Bye.